Hey guys, welcome to this video. Today I am going to show you how I try to solve puzzles, and I'm just going to take you step by step from the beginning to the end what I think about when I'm doing a puzzle, which moves I'm considering, and eventually which moves I'll go for. Let's start with a survival without time limits, and let's just see from step to step, just move one to move to the end of the puzzle. And yeah, let's just see. Okay, this is of course a very easy puzzle because we begin with the lower rated puzzles, and when I first saw this puzzle, my first instinct was what is even going on here, but after looking for a while I can see that his queen is hanging, of course. And usually in these types of puzzles rated below 1000 or below 500, it's just a one move, and you win a piece, or you checkmate your opponent and it's over. So here, of course, this is the move. You take a free queen, and here you will take the rook. This is a back rank checkmate, of course, because his king can't move off the back rank, so it's just an easy checkmate here. And the same goes for this checkmate, which is also back rank. His knight can block and no other piece can interfere, and this king can't move. This one is a little bit more difficult, where the queen is hanging, and after taking the queen, his rook can still block. In this puzzle he didn't do it, but he could have still blocked, and then you can take the rook and checkmate eventually. This is also a very familiar pattern you'll see in puzzles, which is a bishop that blocks the escape square from the king, which essentially means this is essentially the same as the pawn being here, of course, because after this move his king still can't move, because my bishop is of course blocking his escape square. So yeah. In this puzzle it's very important not to take the knight here, because he can take your knight, and yeah, it's just equal. So we don't want any equal trades here, of course. We want to go for something more. So usually when the puzzles get a little bit harder, you'll see checkmates in 1, checkmates in 2. And here you can see a common h2 pawn being attacked by my queen and my knight, which is a checkmating pattern. So after taking this pawn, there's a checkmate, so it's a checkmate in 2. And let's see, this one is a little bit more difficult apparently, because after this there is king here. However, there's another move. Usually in these types of puzzles, it's just a matter of finding the most forceful move. It's 90% of the time it's a move that limits your opponent with the least amount of options. So a check here forces him to go here, which he has one option. There's only one thing he can do. So after this check, there's another check here with the dark squared bishop. And notice how the dark square bishop attacks these squares, and the light square bishop takes these squares. The light square bishop is protected by my queen, so this is just a simple checkmate. And yeah, another important theme, of course, is just piece coordination. How pieces work together. There's always a link between pieces in a chess game. That's obviously one of the hardest things to do in chess, is to make sure all pieces are working together. Your pieces have to make each other stronger, and in this situation the rook is helping the queen deliver a checkmate on b2. And yeah, as you get better in chess, you'll recognize more and more patterns which will show you how to checkmate your opponent. There are different checkmate patterns, and yeah, at a certain point you'll realize there are you'll realize that there are multiple checkmate patterns, and you'll recognize them from afar, and in your games you'll see that you'll recognize them faster and faster. And yeah, usually in these types of structures there are multiple things going around in my head. When I solved this puzzle, immediately what I saw was that if I go here and he takes with my queen, I can go here and deliver a fork. Those sorts of patterns are in art. I'm thinking about them constantly. I'm usually more I usually solve higher rated puzzles, so I look for more complex patterns maybe, but in this situation it's actually much simpler, because it's just a checkmate, because I can go here protected by my knight, of course, and it's just an easy checkmate. So yeah, let's see. This one is a little bit more difficult. This one is actually, now this one, I think this one will be for a 600 or 700 rated puzzle player a lot more difficult to spot, because this is not a checkmate. There are no immediate checks. I can't really give any really good checks. However, I can give one good check, which is pawn to c4, and this is a common tactic where you where the queens are staring at each other. His queen is unprotected, and there is a check which can help me win his queen. So yeah, there's that. Okay, in this puzzle it is probably, okay, it's a mate in 2. So first thing I'm noticing, and while looking at this puzzle, is that if I give a check here, his knight covers and he can take. So this check won't work because his knight takes, and I don't really have any checks after that. So this is a common principle called removing the defender, which means I can remove this knight. And yeah, it's a bit of a shame that the puzzles skip so quickly. So maybe I can just open it up and show real quickly. If I take here, I think his only move here is to block with his queen, and after blocking you don't take his queen, you go queen to b8, which is a checkmate because of his because of the spin, and there's no piece that can block. So so just a very easy checkmate. And yeah. Let's see. Okay. What is this? This is a good one. This is actually a good one. Let's see what is going on here. I can give this check. So yeah, like I mentioned, checks first, of course. So there's this check, which doesn't really work, because if you go here, he can just escape. And yeah, there's not really anything you can do then. You can give another check, but he can escape. And yeah, you don't want to do that. So there's a much more strongful check here, which is bishop to g3. And that's just a simple checkmate too. And yeah. There's also a checkmate in 1 in this puzzle, which is, yeah, I mean, you can give a check like this, but he takes your bishop, and you can take his rook, but he's protecting it with his bishop. And yeah, I mean, you have to be able to see through the fog and realize which check is the best move. Is this the best move? Is this the best move? Is this the best move? Is taking this the best move? But yeah, it's just a matter of elimination. This doesn't work, we've just established that. I mean, I can't take this rook without losing my rook, and he can take my bishop. So yeah, there's one move that gives a check but also protects my bishop, which is rook to d4. And not only that, but it's protected by the pawn. It gives a check, and there's no squares he can go to, because this is protected by my pawn, these squares are protected by my rook, and these are protected by my bishop, and my bishop is protected by my rook. So this is just a checkmate. And yeah, let's see. Now he gives me a check. Yeah, here you don't want to go here, of course, because you can actually take his queen with your rook. And yeah, also a shame that that puzzle went away so quickly. But the idea is here, of course, if he can't take back because he's pinned, and if he takes this, it's a mate because his back rank is very vulnerable. So yeah, there's that. And let's see, this puzzle also relatively easy. Yeah, knights are very tricky, we all know that, and this knight is protecting the escape squares from the enemy king, and actually there's a queen here which is aligning to the b2 pawn also, so this check is not just a check, but it's also just checkmate. So yeah. Here we are getting slowly into the more difficult puzzles, of course, and this puzzle is, yeah, this is a discovered check, and like I mentioned before, it's all about piece coordination. It's all about the right triangles. Your pieces are aligning, and they are working together to deliver a checkmate. And in this situation, look at how this this bishop and this queen are aligning on h7. So I can give this check, and after giving that check, I can take the h pawn on and give a checkmate. And this is also another checkmate pattern which involves a knight and a rook. And yeah, he's up a full rook, but in the middle of chaos he probably hang a checkmate in one, which is a relatively simple checkmate because he can't go to any of these squares. My rook is protected by my knight, and my knight is covering the e8 square, so that's also a relatively simple checkmate. And probably a very salty opponent afterwards. Let's see, what is this? This one is a little bit more difficult. Okay, it's this, right? Yeah, okay, so yeah, this is the last piece he moved. Yeah, okay, so but by moving his bishop to h2, he forgot that he was protecting the b6 pawn, and it's a very tricky checkmate, but this is actually checkmate because I attack these squares, I give a check, and I cover these squares, so there's no way to block for my opponent with a light square bishop, and this bishop is now unable to move to c7, so it's an easy checkmate. And this puzzle is obviously a lot of less pieces, of course, on the board. So here you can simply take the rook, and after taking the rook, all you have to do here is keep opposition of the king. Yeah, this is the move, and this is the move, and this is the move. You gotta make sure to prevent his king from coming into the corner, because if you have a pawn on either A or H files, it's very important that his king can get in front of the pawn. As long as you can take opposition, actually he takes opposition here, but of course we have a pawn, so we just move it. But as long as you are the one having opposition, there's nothing your opponent can do. You can just block off his king and make sure to win the game. This is also a little bit more difficult. So here his king is in a bit of a difficult situation. He can't really go to the g file, and first thing you have to notice in a puzzle like this is if I go to h4, both my rooks are attacking his king, and there's only one way he can defend it. So if I go here, he can go here, and then I can take and move my rook to the b file, protecting the pawn, or attacking the pawn and preventing it from promotion. So the move probably is h4, taking his queen and going to the b file. And let's see. So this is just a matter of calculation. Endgames. If a opportunity arises to trade queens, it's just a matter of calculating. So if I take, he takes, then I am first, and I will go to c3, he will go to h6, I will go to c2, he will go to h7, and I will go to c1, he will go to h8, and then we queen at the same time. So not really sure. Okay, yeah, there's one more thing that you have to consider in these puzzles, is if I take here, here, the most important part is that if I promote on c1, I give a check to his king, and he can't queen because he's in check. So after taking, promoting, and yeah, okay, he just stepped out of the way. But if he didn't step out of the way, it would have been a check, and he couldn't have promoted until the check was gone, of course. Yeah, okay, so this puzzle is also relatively easy still. You just have to find the right IDs. One other thing in more complex puzzles is you will see that passed pawns or pawns that can promote are obviously very strong, so you have to consider that if you have any passed pawns, or you can make any pawns into a queen, it's just very good to be aware of that in puzzles. And here you have to notice that my bishop is aligning with the g pawn and eventually the h pawn, and my bishop is covering the h1 square. So if I check here, I actually want to show that one in a little bit more detail too. If I, let's see, he moves here. If I check here, he can go to F1. He can't go to H1, which is very important because now I can promote. And after promotion, he can block. And after blocking, I think there is a relatively easy checkmate with H3. And there's no way his king can go. He has to go to G2 with the queen. And queen G2 from my black queen is a checkmate, of course. So recognizing the pattern of taking this pawn, disallowing him from preventing it from making a queen and queening yourself is just very important to see in games like this. And yeah, let's see. What do we do here? So first things I'm noticing is that my knight is preventing him from going to E4. And afterwards I'm looking at checks and captures, of course. So there is this check, which is actually checkmate, so that's the right move. However, there's also this check, which takes a rook, which is also strong. But after giving a check like this, you win a full rook, but his king escapes. And one thing you don't want to allow if your enemy king is in a mating net is to allow it to escape. So it's very important to realize that if I go here, he can escape. And look at how my queen and my bishop and my knight are now preventing his king from moving anywhere. His king has no moves. So as long as he doesn't like move this or something or make any form or way of having an escape square, this is just checkmate. And considering I am the one who is allowed to move in this situation, this is just a simple checkmate. And yeah. Yeah, okay, so the puzzles are getting a little bit more difficult. We are slowly moving away from only having like one piece captures and one or two mates or one or two. So in this puzzle, the first thing I'm noticing is, okay, my bishop is being attacked. I'm attacking his knight and I can take a pawn in the center. So when I look at this, I just think, okay, looking at this pawn, how many pieces are attacking it? So there is one piece attacking it and there's two pieces attacking it. How many are defending it? So there's 1, 2 and 3 defending it. However, there's one more thing to consider. My bishop is also X-ray protecting it. So when I ever take this pawn, my bishop is protecting the pawn. So then in that situation, there is a knight and a bishop protecting this pawn. So what I have to do here is remove the defender, and after removing the knight, there's only a bishop and a queen protecting. And after I take this pawn, there's a knight and a bishop from Black's point of view who are protecting this pawn, and there's only a bishop and a queen who are attacking it. So let's say I take here. Okay, he just throws in another move. In this situation, also relatively important before the puzzle ends. It's important not to block with any piece here, because after blocking with a piece, he can take it, and after taking back, he can move his knight, for example, anywhere here. What you want to do here is play c6, and the idea of c6 is, of course, to take the bishop or the knight, because both are under attack, and he can only save one. So yeah, in this situation, just simply take the bishop. There is another fun thing to show here in this puzzle. Let's see, because what if... Okay, so here he does have the check, but obviously in this situation he can't trade off, because if he ever trades off, I can simply take back, and he can't just sacrifice his queen. So this is just completely winning, of course. So this whole idea is critical, because if you don't find this line, it's the second best move is taking here, which is -1, but this move is -4, so it's just much better, and a tactical sequence which will probably win you a lot of games if you keep playing more chess and want to climb the rating ladder, of course. So here there is a few things here that I'm noticing is that I can take this pawn with check, and if he ever moves here, I can probably harass his king up until a point where it's probably checkmate, or at least winning this rook. So this move is the first one I'm considering. For some people this might be a little bit yeah, just it might feel like you are just sacrificing a rook for no reason. That's obviously one of the reasons why you wouldn't just sack a rook, is because you have to make sure that it's working. So it can be very difficult to calculate all the different lines and see if it's working. So if I take and he takes back here, and I take here and he moves here, I was thinking about a move like rook here, for example, which attacks the queen, and it also threatens various checkmates because my pieces are completely boxing in his king, of course. So yeah, there's this, and then takes here, here, and there's also this check, which might work too, because I can probably sacrifice with check and take the full queen. So let's see, if I go here, 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 and then here, he can't really block with any pieces. And if he goes here, I can take the rook, and if he goes here, I can play rook f3. So I might think that's actually the move. Not completely sure that it's rook queen g3 or rook f3. But considering what I mentioned earlier, is the most forced line is usually the line that'll win you the game, and the most forcing moves are usually the strongest. Considering that topic, I think queen g3 is the most forcing, and that means rook f3 wins the queen and probably wins the game. Although 2 rooks against the queen is definitely not easy yet, so definitely wasn't over in that game. Let's see. What is happening here? So one of the things that I am considering is somehow playing king d3 and delivering a checkmate with my horse. So notice that if my king is here and my horse would be here, it would be a checkmate, because these two squares are covered. These 2 squares are covered by my king. These 2, of course, by my pawn, and the knight will deliver a checkmate. The pawn is protected by my king, of course. So if I ever manage to get that position, I would be winning. However, I am still a little far away from that position. So the move might be knight g4. And knight g4 has another idea in mind, of course. If I play knight g4, and for example, let's say he plays... okay, let's say if I play knight g4, he just plays a simple pawn push. I can win the rook with a fork. So if I play this, he has to probably move his rook, and afterwards I can maybe go here immediately. I might also be able to, let's say this, and then he has to probably move here, and I can promote with check. So this probably is the move. Yeah, and okay, he just moves immediately. And moving immediately allows king e2, which is not the winning move, actually. Okay. I'm curious where I went wrong here. Let's see. The winning move here is knight f2 anyways. Okay. And king e2 doesn't actually work because of rook h1. Okay, yeah, so it's very difficult to find the correct moves, of course. And yeah, here I made a mistake by playing king e2. Yeah, so yeah, like I mentioned, yeah, puzzles can be very hard, of course. So let's see, what would I play here? There's this check, which is the first thing that that catches my eye. Not sure what it actually does though. Okay, it wins a rook. That's pretty good. So this check wins a rook. However, yeah, okay, so you could argue that I can't take the rook now, of course, because my queen is under attack. So after giving this check, let's say he goes here, I can take his rook, of course. Yeah, so this definitely has to be the first move. Okay, that's just actually the end of the puzzle. I notice that there are a lot of different levels to the puzzles. Sometimes a puzzle rated 1400 is much more difficult, and sometimes a puzzle rated 1400 is much more easy. So yeah, it's not always, at least for me, it's obviously related to how good you are at a certain part of chess. So if you're a tactical player or positional, whatever. Yeah, let's see. Okay, so I would like to give this check, of course, but his knight and his rook are protecting, and I can't right now, but I can play here, and that's actually a checkmate, because if I go here, the pawn is protected, the rook is protected by the pawn, the rook covers all these squares, the knight covers this square, and this rook covers these 2 squares. and of course my king too. So this is just a checkmate, and yeah, so like I mentioned, 1488 puzzle was a pretty difficult one because king e2 didn't work and knight back did work, but a 1580 puzzle is just a simple checkmate in one. So yeah, I mean the level can vary a lot depending on even depending on the rating level. So it isn't always as straightforward. And this one is also a bit tricky. I guess this is a queen trap somehow. Usually in positions like this where there is not really any checks you can give, it's just a similar, very relatively open position, and there's not a whole lot of things to do. Usually it's a queen trap, so that's just a big tip for in puzzles, because let's see, there's not a whole lot of moves his queen can move to. These are all covered by my bishop, so he can't really move back right now. All of his own pieces are blocking his way back further. So after playing a move like b4, what is his queen going to do is what you're going to have to ask. You can't go here, 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 and can't take this. So this is just a very straightforward queen trap, and yeah. There is still this move though, and here I think it's very important not to move here, because if you do, he can take with check, and after taking with check, he can move his queen. So you have to go to king h8, and after taking this, you can take a queen and be very happy. Yeah, so it's 2 rooks. Versus 2 rooks, and I have a almost passed pawn, so my first instinct here would be to go here immediately, and the move order here is probably c2, rook d2, rook b1, takes, and winning a rook. So here, okay, he actually goes here. That's interesting, did not expect that. Probably rook d7, right? Yeah, rook d7 must be winning, and after going here, he will take this pawn, and you will be up, and you can just simply step with your king into g7, which isn't a problem. So that's fine. Okay, this is another mating net, as you can see. Here his king is almost entirely boxed in. There is only one move he can go to. So after giving a check like this, he has to go here, and after giving this and this, there's probably a checkmate, right? Yeah, so after this, there was a checkmate with the f4 pawn. Let's see, this is also a relatively easy puzzle, I think. I can just take there. If he ever moves here, I can push. If he goes here, I can play here. So the only way this pawn is ever going to promote is if he brings his king. And after taking here, I play here, and let's say here. This is just too late, and he simply can't promote in time. So yeah, let's just push, keep pushing. Yeah, I mean, I could play a move like this, and after this I could play here, and then I'm sure he isn't ever going to promote, so I might have to play king e2 here. Let's see, there is not good. So there is obviously another important concept here, is when I promote, I give a check. So yeah, I don't think I have to move back here, so I think I'll just push again. Yeah. Yeah, usually you have to just think like, do I have to go back? If I don't, do I lose? And in this position, I wouldn't immediately have lost if I didn't do it. So in that position, it's usually not going back, because as long as you win and you queen first, and it's also a check, you're completely fine, and it'll just be winning. Yeah, I mean, this puzzle is a little bit more difficult. At least it's not difficult because it's a mate in one, but the pattern is a little bit more difficult, and it's a little hard to see. This is something you won't find as often as other checkmating patterns, so that makes it a little bit more difficult, but it's very important here to realize a few things. One thing is your queen is covering all the squares in front of his king. Your rook is also covering these squares, so once again it's a simple mating net, and his king can't go anywhere. If in this situation you can give a check, which is by a piece which is protected by another piece, it's immediately checkmate, because this is a simple checkmate, because he just can't move, he's in check, my bishop is protected, and yeah, that's just the end of the game. That's how chess works. So yeah. Let's see, I am thinking about a move like this. So there's this, and then I cover all these squares, I cover all these squares, I cover this square, and there's nothing he can do to prevent me from playing this move. So once again, this is just a simple checkmate, and actually a really simple puzzle for a 1880 rated. So yeah, this one is a very similar, very familiar sequence you'll see. So first thing you have to notice here is his king is still in the middle of the board. My king is too, but my king isn't vulnerable to any checks right now, because my black pawns are protecting it, and his queen is still unable to go away from his own half of the board. And here it's very simple. Okay, there's a queen h4 check. If I give this check right now, what does it do? He can probably play here, and if I take this bishop, then he can take my queen. So that's not good, because then I have to trade queens, and after taking this, he can take back with his knight. However, if you reverse the move order and you take the bishop first, now he has to take with his knight, of course, otherwise he loses a bishop. And after moving the knight, if I give a check, then there's no way for him to protect with the knight, and he can't protect with any pawns. So after going here, he can block with the queen, but now he simply loses the knight, and yeah, you're just up a piece and probably just winning the game. So, okay, this one is definitely getting a little bit more difficult. So he has 2 passed pawns, I have 1 passed pawn and a bishop. And let's see, what I would do here is probably go after this pawn and try to promote this one in somehow. So one thing is, he can't move his pawn, of course, because I can just take. So if he ever moves this pawn, I can simply take and it'll be fine. So no need to play my bishop in front of the pawn or anything at this point. And if I go here, he can't actually go down to take my pawn, which is also pretty important. So here, and he can't even go here because I'm covering all these squares. And there's one sequence I have to be a little bit careful about, that is king h6 and then g7, and after takes, then he can't move here. So what I don't want to do is, okay, let's say I play this, he does play this, I take, he goes here, I take, he goes here. That's a draw, because you can't mate with a king and a bishop, so you never want to end with a king and a bishop only, because you'll draw. And obviously this is a puzzle, so you have winning chances, otherwise it won't be a puzzle. Although some puzzles will learn you how to play a repetition, for example, but this puzzle will obviously be about how to win in this situation. So if I go here, he goes here, I take, and he goes here. What do we do? That is a good question. I can go back, and then he can push. Let's see, I can go here, and then he will push again. Yeah, okay, so I'm not really convinced about king a6 at this point, because of this move. So let's see, king a6, there. Maybe it's sacrificing the bishop and taking here. That actually might be it, and that's very difficult to see, of course, because if you go here, here, bishop d4 takes here, but he does have this move, right? Okay, so I don't think that's the move order, because if I can't really protect my pawn afterwards. So let's see, what is the move here? I'm not really convinced anymore about king a6, actually. It still feels intuitively as if it's the best move, but I am not really sure. So let's see. I'm just going to play it for content's sake because I feel like this is the best move. I'm not really sure how I'm going to win anything here. I have to go back, right? I mean, there's only one thing I can do. If I go back though, he can push and I can go here and he can push again. And what is the move then? Maybe this? Yeah, probably that and then that, right? And then takes there. Okay, so I think I have to go back here. And I think I have to go here. I have to, okay, so one more important thing here is to realize you have to protect your pawn here. There's only one thing you can do. The only move here is this, because if you don't, and if I take here, for example, this is just a draw. I mean, this puzzle isn't designed to draw this game, of course, but in certain positions, if a draw is the best thing you can do, you can take the pawn. But in this position, I have to go here because a draw isn't the only thing I want to do. And I think the move here is bishop f8, and after going bishop f8 I take away all these squares, so he has to move back, and after that I can go here, and there's no real way for him to get into the game again. So after this move I can go here, and now I can just simply take. And yeah, that's just that's like a prime example of how I calculate during a puzzle and how I go from step to step to step on how to determine if you are doing the right things and making the right moves. And yeah, I think I think that was the perfect example of how to how those puzzles are being solved. And yeah. This one is giving me a few ideas. One of the ideas is g5, and after playing g5 he has to take back, and then he is boxed in. So g5 is the move, I just realized. And okay, there were a few different lines I was looking at. Let's just play it, and let's see, there, and there, yeah. So I'm going to analyze this one a little bit too, because I want to show a few different lines here. So one of the things I was thinking about is, let's see if he was going here. I was thinking about this move, which doesn't work because he can take with the knight, of course. And here there isn't really any check anymore. This move doesn't work, and the move like this doesn't work either because he can just take. If I ever take this, he can go here, and yeah, I mean, this is just all over. He's going to go here and checkmate me, and yeah. So that one I ruled out pretty quickly. There's also this move, which allows this move, which is very important again in these types of positions. If you are about to deliver a checkmate, you have two rooks. They are very close to the enemy king. There's one thing you always want to look out for, and that is the king must not be able to escape. If the king is able to escape, it's losing, because you go from having a mate in 2 to having a minus. Well, I mean, there's an m in the equation, so that it's not good. So yeah, in this position, what you want to do is give the check, and after giving the check, he has to take back, because if he doesn't, he's checkmated, so he has to take back. And now your pawn takes away the g6 square, and after this, it's just a simple checkmate. There's no pieces to be able to block the check or take the piece that delivered the check. So yeah, it's very simple, just a simple checkmate, and you win the game. Okay, 37. We are now above 2000 rated if it comes to puzzles, so now the puzzles will definitely get very hard. And yeah, let's see if we can keep finding the critical IDs in these puzzles. So this one is definitely a lot more difficult. However, there's one thing that that catches my eye immediately, which is this move. And the reason is his queen is only protected by this knight. So if I ever take this knight and he takes back, I can take a full queen and be very happy. However, if I take the knight and he doesn't take back, what does he do? If he takes my queen, my bishop is actually protecting my queen. So if I go here, here, and here, I win a full piece, because I simply win a knight, and it's just end of the game. So that's very cool. So let's play it, and let's go here, and let's just take back this bishop, because this was protected by a pawn. And yeah, simple puzzle really. So this one is about a mating net 2. Yeah, so one of the things you have to notice here is there is a check here, of course, on g4. And after delivering the check, he can go to h6. However, he can't go to h6 if I go king g7. And if I go king g7, his king is completely boxed in. There's nothing he can do. He can't give a check because I simply take. He can't promote with a check because I am on the 7th rank and not on the 8th. So simply king g7, and he has to block. And after promoting, this is a checkmate, and there's nothing he can do. It's just game over. So yeah. Okay, puzzles are definitely getting more difficult now. Yeah, let's see, what are we doing here? We can take this, take this, take this, take this, which I don't really like, of course, because I mean it's 2 against 2 and the rook against the rook if all these pieces are traded off the board, so no real reason to do that right now. I can also take with the pawn, and if he takes back with the rook, still, I don't really think I can get anything out of that. Although there might be pawn takes, rook takes, and d6, which isn't all that bad actually, because there, and then I'm almost certain to promote because he can't block on the c file. However, he can give annoying checks, and he might be able to find some way to defend that. So let's see. However, I do think it might be this move. It might also be d7. Let's see, d7. Is d7 good? Yeah, that's a difficult one. I think it'll be e7, takes the bishop. Yeah, that feels the most intuitive. And then I'll probably play d6. Yeah, okay, so d6 was the move. Sometimes, I mean, I gotta be honest, sometimes I try to calculate, but it's too much, and I just simply think, okay, on intuition, this move feels right, and I eventually decide to play that move. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you gotta make a choice, and hope for the best, of course. Yeah, okay, here he's attacking my king, of course, so I'm in check. And I have 5 different options to choose from. Actually, I have 7, but I mean these 2 don't really work anyway, so I won't do any of these moves, of course. And let's say I go here. That actually looks kind of safe, to be honest. He can promote, but then I go here, here, and here, and I checkmate. So if I go here, he has to somehow give another check, which I don't think he actually can. So I'm actually already tempted to play king f4. A move like this won't work because of this check, like this check too. You want to just simply prevent him from being able to check you, and you want to just deliver a checkmate yourself, of course. Look at how this rook is pinned, of course, so he can't take this one, and that's also very important. If I go here, he can't take this, well, with check, of course, so yeah. A move like this, a reason why I wouldn't play a move like this too is because, well, first of all, he has rook h1, and second of all, he can promote and give a check like this. So going to this entire file, it just seems stupid and doesn't work properly. And going here allows for this, so this has to be the move. King f4, you are completely safe, and even though it feels a bit counterintuitive because you don't want to step in with your king towards all the pieces and towards all the checks, but this move is the most safe, and yeah. You do have to be a little bit careful not to take immediately without thinking about it, so you do have to calculate real quick, like, is this the best move? And I do think it's the best move, because after taking this, what is he gonna do? There's still no checks, he can probably go here, but that's actually a good reason why this doesn't work. Because let's say I go here, and here I am actually trapping pinning my queen. So taking this is probably not the best move because of this move, and I think I lose in that situation. I might not actually, because if I go here, 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 and here, I still am winning by a lot, but although he can promote, so not really certain if I'm still winning in that situation, but yeah, I don't think you want to take here with your queen, actually. I think you want to take with your rook. And even though there is still this, then there is this. So if there's this, I can go here maybe. And then this, and then takes. Yeah, okay, so I want to take with my rook. Okay, I don't want to take with my rook. sometimes you get them wrong. That's part of life, you know. Not really sure why I went wrong. Okay, he says still take with your queen, and after this you're still completely winning. You can simply take, and this is the line I mentioned actually. And although this is getting a little bit tricky, right? Isn't it? Okay, so you have to go. Okay, so you have to go rook h2. So like I mentioned, puzzles like this are getting a lot more difficult because a move like I was looking at knight d7 here, thinking, okay, now I'm protecting, but there are two problems with this move. One is you just hang a bishop, or hang a knight actually, but the other, much more important, is rook g8. And after going here now, he can simply just take your rook and here and here, and now it's actually just a very much a game. So yeah, this is also not the best move apparently. Apparently, okay, yeah, taking the rook is better than taking the knight. Yeah, like I mentioned, there is a lot of complexity in these positions, and my first instinct wasn't to go here because this move was pinning my queen, of course. But after looking at it in more detail and playing out all of the lines in the on the board here, you can see that even though you think this is losing the queen for no reason, it's still the best move. So chess can be very hard, and sometimes you have to really be sure that a move is a winning move. Otherwise, you'll end up losing, even though you might have had a winning position, or yeah, might have been very good. So let's see, I'm at 40. I have one more puzzle to go. If I lose this one, it'll be game over. So yeah, 40 is a nice amount. I'm pretty happy about that. However, let's see if we can get a few more puzzles right. So one of the things, once again, immediately looking at is this piece correlation. The bishop and the queen and the bishop are aligning this. However, his queen is also protecting. So let's see what's going on here. I can take this rook, and after taking back, for example, is there anything? Okay, so if I take this, he can't actually take back with the knight because I win a queen. So after taking this, he has to probably take back with the queen, and then I can go here, and that's actually a checkmate. So if I go here, he has to take back with his knight, or he doesn't take back at all, which is also a move probably, but then I probably just win a full rook. So this must be the first move. And like I mentioned, he doesn't take because there's this, and he doesn't take because there's this. So now let's see, he is threatening maybe some checks. No, not really actually, don't think. Yeah, okay, he's threatening this, which is important. However, I can probably just take the knight here, and he has to take back, and then I have to take back with my knight. Yeah, so probably this is just the best continuation. Just save your knight, win the piece again, and be up and finish the game in style. And let's see, there is this check, of course. This check forces this, and that actually is just a simple mate. So this is just a simple mate in two, except for the fact that I'm in check, of course, which I did not see at all. So yeah, and after going here, he can take my rook. So not a simple checkmate, unfortunately. Let's see. Now I am tempted to go king d7 actually, because king d7 protects my rook. And after taking, I can simply take back. So I think king d7 is the move here, because if I go king d5, he can simply take the rook, and I can give a check, but that check just does absolutely nothing. And yeah, I don't think I'm winning there, so I'm going king d7. He plays a pawn move, which is a bit annoying. Now I can probably play king c7 and still protect my rook, and then just simply take. And yeah, a rook versus a queen is obviously winning for the person with the queen, so yeah. Yeah, okay, what's going on over here? I've got a nearly passed pawn, so I can probably push this, and after pushing he probably goes here, which at which point I can go here, and if he takes, I can take that. Is that the move order? So there, and there, and then I might lose a passed pawn, but I win a rook and probably win the game. So I think it's something in that line, in that sense. However, of course, I should have noticed that he can check, which is important, but lucky for me, it still works because I have king f2, and after taking, I can simply take here. So yeah. Yeah, another crazy position, really. So he just took my horse with his bishop, and is he threatening some sort of mate or something right now? I don't really think he is. He's threatening to take this bishop though, but that is protected by my king, and he gets some checks in, which is annoying, but I don't think it immediately loses. So I can take back the bishop, but usually in these types of puzzles, taking a bishop isn't the puzzle. So I am actually more tempted to play a move like pawn xf6. And let's say I do, and he goes here, then I can maybe deliver a checkmate somehow. Let's see, there. There's also bishop back, so might not be the move. So there is just bishop back, right? And that's not very good. Although I can check with, I can take with check. So there. And what about knight takes? Knight takes, I take with the, so let's see, let's say I take, he takes back with the knight, I take with my rook, he takes here, and so there, and there's a bishop here. Yeah, I don't think that's winning at all. Although, maybe I get this move in. So, one other thing that this does, and if he takes back with the knight, I can get this bishop in. So, there. I actually do think it's f6, and I think it's sacrifice, and then, okay, so the problem here, like I mentioned, is he can't take because there's this, and if he goes back, there's this checkmate, and if he doesn't go back, it is simply checkmate already, so yeah. However, what's the move here in this situation? So the more complex the puzzles get, the more complex the positions get, and the more moves are possible. But I feel like we're on the right track here. How do we finish this in style though? Probably takes and here, and then maybe here or something. Or even there, and there. Oops. Okay, well, I mouse slipped. Well, that's a great ending of this episode. Okay, let's see what the solution was, because I was very curious, and I think I was on the right track with taking. Okay, it was not taking, so I probably would have messed it up again anyways. But yeah, this move, okay, yeah, looking at it now, this move makes more sense, because you pin and he can't take, so my bishop, my rook isn't actually being attacked. And I'm for sure going to win this bishop, so yeah. Okay, so 43, highest solved 2391. This was a long video, however I think it was pretty useful, and it was pretty cool to see what the best moves are in certain positions, and just thinking through the puzzles, which is also very learnful and helpful for beginning players, hopefully. So yeah. Okay guys, see you in the next one. Bye.